sanctuary tonight, just for a change. So please come on in. There's plenty of room. We have already made good our vow that all times will be approximate. It's not 7:45. And I was told, let it go. So I'm going to let it go, all right? Am I playing this or no?
We don't have to play.
Do you just want to do a cappella? Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Before we get started, I do see that there are some kids here, and frankly, some of the adults might be getting antsy during the service as well. Out on
We got it.
one of the tables in our entryway, we have some activity booklets and some packets of crayons. Feel free to grab one or more of them if you need something to entertain you and keep you engaged in something else during the service.
So we're going to begin with a traditional tune.
Gary, for you?
I'm sorry? Oh, listen, at Rosh Hashanah we say Shana Tova, and we'll say at the end of the service too. But the technical right thing to say right now is Gemar, say Gemar.
Gemar.
Chatima.
Chatima.
Tova.
Tova.
Which means may the final seal be for good. May we all be signed and sealed for a life of wonder and joy and blessing and happiness and health and connection and love in this coming year. So the traditional tune that we're going to be doing is on 124 in your book, going from right to left. It's called Achat Sha'alti. Oh, you. I'll just follow you.
Achat Sha'alti Beit Adonai Otavakesh. Achat Sha'alti Beit Adonai Otavakesh. Shivti bebeit Adonai kol yemei chayai. Lachazot benoam Adonai ulevaker b'heichalo. Lachazot benoam Adonai ulevaker b'heichalo. Join us this time. Achat Sha'alti Beit Adonai Otavakesh. Achat Sha'alti Beit Adonai Otavakesh. Shivti b'beit Adonai kol yemei chayai. Lachazot benoam Adonai ulevaker b'heichalo. Lachazot benoam Adonai ulevaker b'heichalo.
So this last time around for all of us, with me and you, we decided that maybe we should shake things up a little bit and not wait till after my sermon, after the cello plays Kol Nidre with Ann Martindale Williams, and then ask you to listen to the president. The president actually has, a call on us to give us a message of where we are and where we're going. Where's Saul Straussman? There he is. Come on over.
We'll see what happens with that. Shana Tova. I know I'm supposed to say the other thing, but I'll get to that at the end. The great soul songwriter, Sam Cooke sang the following lines about a very different era in a very different moment in our nation's history. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change is going to come. Oh, yes, it will. I recognize that Mr. Cook was not singing about Temple Sinai. However, the idea of change is apropos in this moment of Temple Sinai's almost 75-year history. Change is going to come to our synagogue. Just in case you were not aware, our beloved senior rabbi, Rabbi Jamie Gibson, will be retiring in June 2020. I encourage you to be a part of temple life throughout the year as we celebrate Rabbi Gibson's tenure in music, events, and Torah. Yes, we have commissioned a new Torah in Rabbi Gibson's honor, and we want you to be a part of its creation. However, I wanted to take a moment to talk about the process we have embarked upon and the different ways you can be involved. It is the board's intention that this process be as open as possible to the congregation and that as many Temple Sinai congregants participate as possible. To begin with, a search committee has begun the process to look for an interim rabbi. The interim rabbi will serve for a one-year period, and while we search for a new senior rabbi for Temple Sinai. It is my hope that when the finalists are selected, that many of you will take advantage of the process to meet with the candidates and provide the search committee with feedback. I have been asked numerous times, why are we hiring an interim rabbi? Aren't there plenty of rabbis interested in becoming our new senior rabbi? I'll answer the second question first by noting that we are a dynamic congregation, and I am sure that there will be a number of good candidates for us to interview. However, given Rabbi Gibson's long tenure as our senior rabbi, it has become best practice to hire an interim rabbi to give the congregation some time to reflect on who we are without Rabbi Gibson as our spiritual leader. And that is where all of you come in. Sometime this coming spring, the Synagogue Transition Committee will begin to organize listening sessions as well as opportunities for online feedback about the issues important to you as we figure out what will Temple Sinai be in the future. This information will help us craft our application and guide the Settled Rabbi Search Committee in its task. I want to thank you in advance for your support through this coming year and in whatever way you choose to give it. Through your advice as we proceed with the search, through your financial support by fulfilling your pledge, and more. And for the work many of you do by volunteering at Temple Sinai, and simply, like tonight, for your presence, kind words, and support for each other. Change is never easy, but I know that the change is easier to accept when it is transparent and when we are kept informed. As the search process moves forward, I will do my best to keep you informed. Please be sure to read the updates and highlights on Temple Sinai's website and in the e-newsletters. And if you have a question about the process, please reach out to me. As Sam Cooke sang, I know a change is going to come. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it will. But together we can embrace that change. May you have an easy fast. Gemar Chatima Tova.
Gemar Chatima Tova. Thank you, Saul. It's beautiful. I'm going to ask that you turn in your book to page 9, going from right to left. I'm going to ask the incomparable, wonderful Barbara Gibson to come forward and lead us in the candle blessing. If you are able, please rise in your place.
The human spirit is the lamp of God, searching out what lies within us. Guided by the flame of conscience, on this sacred night, we search for truth. Shine your light upon us as we strive to serve you. May we find safety in your faithful love. We light the flame of healing and forgiveness. On this atonement night, we give thanks for love. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher kichanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Yom HaKippurim.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam,
Shechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu l'zman hazeh. Please find your seats and turn to page 10.
Some of us, for various reasons, are not able to fast. And so for those of us, I invite anyone who would like to join with me on page 10 with a prayer for those who must eat during Yom Kippur. Rofecho basar, healer of all living creatures, I thank you for the breath that is in me, for the community of Israel that lives, for the possibilities of today and tomorrow. May my eating be as a fast. May it be dedicated to you, to tshuva, to the renewal and restoration of my relationship to you, to others, and to myself.
And on the facing page at the bottom, those who are fasting, please read with me. Blessed are you, soul of the universe, creator of many creatures and their varied needs, for sustaining the lives of all beings. Life of the universe, we praise you. Now we prepare to abstain from food and drink, that we may dedicate ourselves to the spiritual tasks of this holy day. Blessed is the source of all. You open us to your nourishment. Be with us throughout this time of an intentional fasting. As we turn to page 16, we are preparing for the Kol Nidrei. We're going to open the Ark and bring out the Torah scrolls and all the scrolls of the prophets and writings. We're going to have them in the arms of those who have led this congregation either as president or as lifetime trustee. They collectively hold more than 500 years of leadership here. Yes, they did not know they were that old, but 500 years of leadership to bring us to the place where we are now. And they stand as witnesses for the Kol Nidrei as it's sung. I'll ask you on page 16 to rise as you are able as the Torahs are removed and we prepare for the Kol Nidrei.
Or zaru al tzadik, ol yishrei leiv simcha. 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 Or zaru al tzadik, ol yishrei leiv simcha.
בישיבה של מעלה, בישיבה של מטה. על דת המקום ועל דת הקהל, אנו מתירים להתפלל עם העבריינים. We're on page 16 in the middle. Please read with me. With one voice, assembled sages, past and present, declare, All may pray as one on this night of repentance. Let none be excluded from our community of prayer. With one voice, God and congregation proclaim. All may pray as one on this day of return. Let all find a place in this sacred assembly.
וחרמי וקונמי וכינויי וכינוסי ושבועות דין דרנה Shevin, v'telin mvutalin, la shririn dela kayamin, nilrana la nilrei, vesarana la esarei, ushvutana la shvut.
Look at the facing page in the middle. We read the rendering of this in the modern language together. Give us the strength to keep our promises, the sacred vows of partners in marriage, the promises of love and care between parents and children, the promises of duty between citizens and country, the oaths of doctors, the sacred trust of teachers. Give us the strength to keep our promises to our friends and colleagues, to those who live with us and depend on us, those who work for us and those for whom we work, to those whom we pray with and those for whom we pray, to those we love and those we serve. Give us the courage to keep our promises to ourselves, to one another, and to future generations. At the top of the following page, V'nislach l'chol adat b'nei Yisrael, v'lager gar b'tocham kol ki l'chol ha'am bishgaga. Together, all shall be forgiven. The entire. Slach na lavon ha'am hazeh kagodel chasdecha, v'chasher nasata la'am hazeh mimitzrayim v'ad hena. Moses prayed to God, as you have been faithful to this people ever since Egypt, please forgive their failings now, in keeping with your boundless love. As the last scroll is put in, please remain standing for the Baruch Hu, the call to worship.
On page 25, we offer a prayer for creation, joined together. Day and night are yours, creative spirit of the universe. The muted colors of twilight, the radiance of dawn. Yours are the spreading wings of light, the deepening shadows of darkness, and ever-changing drama. In the human heart, too, the struggle between darkness and light unfolds. From the sunlit heights of generosity, the human heart sinks to the gloomy depths of selfishness. Although we fall, you give us the strength to rise again. You call on those who hurt through word or deed to break free from wrongdoing and return to you. All who hear your call to goodness are embraced.
All who reject emptiness and evil find acceptance from you.
We come into your presence this night of Kol Nidre, aware that our shortcomings and weaknesses are many, yet encouraged by your promise of forgiveness, we choose freely the path of repentance, restoring wholeness to our lives and holiness to the world.
Amen. Please turn the page. If you come here any Friday night, you hear this Ahavat Olam, and we expect you to sing with us. Here we go. Ahavat Olam. You sound beautiful. Beit Yisrael. Torah u'mitzvot ukimu mishpatim, otanu limadeta, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shofbenu, u'kumeinu nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach v'divrei Toratecha, u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'en, ki hen chayenu, v'orech yameinu, u'vahem negei yomam v'layla, negei yomam v'layla. Yavadcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael, ohev amo Yisrael. As you are able, please rise for the Shema, which we declare in full voice tonight.
Shema Yisrael,
Please be seated. We continue on page 30.
Et Adonai Elohecha, v'chol levavecha,
ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה
אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך ובמלאכתך בדרך, ושוכבך ובקומך, ושרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם במזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. You shall love Adonai your God with all your mind,
with all your soul, and with all your strength. Set these words which I command you this day upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be a symbol before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. Thus you will become holy to your God.
I, Adonai, am your God, who brought you out of Egypt to be your God. I, Adonai, your God. Adonai Elohechem. Amen.
Page 38, we join together. Truth and faith, these are fundamental to our existence. God alone is their source, and we are Israel, a people of God. Our sovereign saves us from tyranny, redeems us from its violence through countless wonders, from its brutality through great feats beyond measure. We are Israel, a people of God, the giver of life who would not let our feet give way, the maker of miracles for us against Pharaoh, of signs and portents in the land of Egypt,
the one who brought our people Israel from its midst to enduring freedom.
Page 40.
וראו בנה גבורתו שבכבודו לשמו ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כל
We continue with Hashkivenu, page 42.
We turn to page 45 at the top. We read in English before the Ki Vayom is sung. Together? For on this day
atonement shall be made for you, to purify you from all your wrongs. And pure you shall be in the presence of Adonai.
Ki vayom azeh
Please rise as you're able for Chatzi Kaddish, page 45.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבו ויעמוד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחיי חון וביומי חון ובחיי כל בית ישראל בהגנה בזמן קריב ימרו
Page 46, we join together at the top. Have mercy upon me, O God, as befits your faithfulness. In keeping with your abundant compassion, blot out my transgressions. Wash me thoroughly of my iniquity and purify me of my sin. For I recognize my transgressions and am ever conscious of my sin.
Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagin Tegilatecha. Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagin Tegilatecha. Sifatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagin Tegilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elokei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, Ha'gibor HaNorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei HaKol, וזוכר חסדי עוון ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבניהם למען שמו באהבה. זוכרנו לחיים, מלך חפץ בחיים, וכותבנו בספר החיים, למען האלוהים חיים. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם עזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב מושיע, מוריד אתה, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה. מי כמוך האל הרחמים, זוכר יצוריו לחיים ברחמים, ונאמנת לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדוש שמך יום יהללוך סלם.
Please be seated. At the very bottom of page 53, there's an explanation of what that last word we just said is, Selah. So most likely it says Selah is a musical reference that signaled a pause or a break to the psalm singers and instrumentalists of the ancient temple worship. We too might understand Selah in that way and see it as a message woven into our prayer. Slow down, let go of words, take a moment for stillness, for silence, and for meditation. And so we do take that time right now for silence, stillness, and meditation. And if you would like to continue, you may do so in the Amidah through page 65. They said redemption would come only when no one's expecting it anymore. And one night, they sat silent and awake at the thresholds of their stores and homes and didn't expect redemption. And when dawn rose, there were tears rolling down from all the rooftops. continue on page 67. We join together towards the bottom. Out of the depths I call you. Hear me in this darkness as I cry for mercy. I long for your word. I wait for your forgiveness. You offer love. You free me from my sins. I yearn for your light, more eager than watchers for the morning. Help me to know your peace. On page 68, we join together in the middle. God, who is ours and God of our fathers and mothers, lead us to holiness through your mitzvot, and may each of us find a portion of Torah that is ours. You bestow such goodness. Teach us to be satisfied and to know the joy of your salvation. We continue on page 70. Help us to serve you truly with purity of heart, for you are the forgiver of Israel, in every generation granting pardon to the tribes of Yeshurun. We have no God of forgiveness and pardon but you alone.
Baruch atah Adonai, melech mocha v'sleich la'avonotenu, ve'la'avonot amo beit Yisrael, ma'avir ashmotenu b'chol shana v'shana. Melech al kol haaretz, mekadesh Yisrael. Melech al kol haaretz, mekadesh Yisrael. Melech al kol haaretz, mekadesh Yisrael. V'yom ha'kippurim.
Page 72.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu, Yamcha Yisrael, U'tefilatam b'yava,
Page 75. It doesn't have to be the blue iris. It could be weeds in a vacant lot or a few small stones. Just pay attention, then patch a few words together, and don't try to make them elaborate. This isn't a contest, but the doorway into thanks and a silence in which another voice may speak. Page 76. Page 78.
first part of the service, of course, is Kol Nidrei. The second part is the Shema and the blessings, and the third part is the Tefillah, the 7 blessings that celebrate the day, that offer praise, holiness, and thanksgiving. And now we move to that unique part of Yom Kippur, a Shamnu, where we collectively take responsibility for what we've done. We don't avert our eyes. We understand how we have fallen short. There's a beautiful poem on 83 before the Ashamnu on 82 in the middle. When I was young and learned the alphabet, life was open to me. A was full of aspiration, B was for beauty, C for confidence, D for dreams, and so on through the list. No fewer than 26 opportunities, 26 possibilities, and yet I fear that with the passage of time, I've squandered them, creating instead A's of apathy, B's of brusqueness, and C's of coarseness. Help me then, read with me, help me then to return to that innocence. Let the letters be letters once again. Let them rise to the heavens and form into the words
I wish to say.
As we chant the Vashamnu, many of you observe the tradition, take your hand and you beat your heart as if to say, you made me do this. Beat stronger that I might do better.
Ashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu, Dibarnu Dofi, Hevinu, Mehirshanu, Zadnu, Hamasnu, Tafalnu Shaker, Yatsura, Kizanu, Latnu, Maranu, Niatsnu, Saranu, Avinu, Hashanu, Saranu, Kishinu Oref, Rashanu, Shichatnu, Tiavnu, Tainu, Titanu.
Please turn ahead to 86 for the Alchet, the individual sins. Again, sins that we've committed as a community. Please feel free to read along with us in the Hebrew or just in the English, however you feel connected to the words. Al-chet shechatanu lefanecha bezadon v'ishgaga, v'al-chet shechatanu lefanecha b'dibur peh.
The ways we have wronged you deliberately and by mistake, the harm we have caused in your world through the words of our mouths. Al-chet shechatanu lefanecha be'imutz halev, ve'al-chet shechatanu lefanecha be'tifshut peh.
The ways we have wronged you by hardening our hearts, and the harm we have caused in your world
through careless speech.
Al-chet shechatanu lefanecha b'chachashut chazav, ve'al-chet shechatanu lefanecha b'rechilut.
The ways we have wronged you through lies and deceit, and harm we have caused in your world through gossip and rumor. Al-chet shechatanu lefanecha b'flilut, ve'al-chet shechatanu lefanecha b'zilzul horim u'morim.
The ways we have wronged you by judging others unfairly,
and harm we have caused in your world through disrespect to parents and teachers.
Al-chet shechatanu lefanecha b'vidui peh, ve'al-chet shechatanu lefanecha b'hona'at re'ah.
The ways we have wronged you through insincere apologies, and harm we have caused in your world by mistreating a friend or neighbor. Al-chet shechatanu lefanecha b'chozek yad, ve'al-chet shechatanu lefanecha b'masav matan.
The ways we have wronged you by violence and abuse,
and harm we have caused in your world through dishonesty in business.
Selat lanu mechalanu kapelanu.
Page 89. We join together in these failures of integrity. We wrong you when we wrong ourselves. For our failures of integrity, Adonai, we seek forgiveness. For passing judgment without knowledge of the facts, and for distorting facts to suit our purposes, for succumbing in silence to social pressure, and for acquiescing in beliefs we find offensive,
for using others' bad behavior to excuse our own, and for blaming others for our mistakes and poor decisions, for pretending to emotions we do not feel, and for appearing to be other than what we are, for condemning in our children the faults we tolerate in ourselves, and for tolerating in ourselves the faults we condemn in our parents.
We
continue with failures of justice. We dishonor you when we dishonor our society. For our failures of justice, Adonai, we seek forgiveness. For being indifferent to deprivation and hunger, while accepting a culture of self-indulgence and greed. For abuse of power in boardrooms, courtrooms, and classrooms. For accepting the neglect of children and elders, the ill and the weak. For permitting social inequalities to prevail. For lacking the vision to transcend our selfishness. For glorifying violence and turning hastily to war. For allowing history to repeat itself. For behaviors that risk the future of our planet. For wreaking havoc on our only true inheritance, God's creation.
Page 93. There is a tradition that we shouldn't just beat our chests for all of the things that we have done wrong, but also acknowledge the ways in which we have done the right thing. And so on page 93, we have these acts of healing and repair with the refrain, Al hatikun shetikanu lefanecha. I know that's a little bit of a tongue twister, so I'll say it again. Al hatikun shetikanu lefanecha. God, our creator and guide, let us now speak of the healing acts by which we bring you into the world, the acts of repair that make you a living presence in our lives.
Al hatikun shetikanu lefanecha.
For the act of healing we have done openly or anonymously,
and for the act of repair we have done without personal gain.
Al hatikun shetikanu lefanecha.
For the act of healing we have done by seeking forgiveness,
and for the act of repair we have done by forgiving others.
Al hatikun shetikanu lefanecha.
For the act of healing we have done through righteous giving,
and for the act of repair we have done by opening our hearts.
Al hatikun shetikanu lefanecha.
For the act of healing we have done by comforting the mourner and visiting the sick. And for the act of repair we have done by pursuing justice and human rights, fairness and civility. Al hatikun shetikanu lefanecha.
For the act of healing we have done by making peace between one person and another,
and for the act of repair we have done by protecting nature and all its creatures. Al hatikun shetikanu lefanecha.
For the act of healing we have done by teaching our children the ways of peace,
and for the act of repair we have done by teaching our children the ways of Torah. Al hatikun shetikanu lefanecha. For the act of healing we have done by honoring elders and loving the stranger. And for the act of repair we have done in response to your commandment, choose life and blessing.
V'al kulam,
and all these things near the day when you shall be one and your name shall be one.
We continue with the chanting of Shema Kolenu on page 98.
Shema Kolenu Adonai Eloheinu Chus v'rachem aleinu v'kabel v'rachamim u'v'ratzon et tefilateinu Hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Chadesh yameinu kekedem Chadesh yameinu kekedem Amareinu hazinu Adonai b'nagigenu יהי לרצון אמרפינו, והגיון ליבנו לפניך, אדוני צורנו וגואלנו. אל תשליכנו מלפניך, ורוח קודשך תיקח ממנו. אל תשליכנו לעת זקנה, ככלות כוחנו אל תעזבנו. אל תעזבנו, אדוני אלוהינו. אל תרחק ממנו, כי לך אדוני אוכלנו אתה תענה, אדוני אלוהינו.
We're on page 100 at the top, and we read responsively. God of forgiveness, we come before you in need of compassion. That's with one voice they had promised, we will do and obey, and yet stiff-necked, they broke their word, adoring an idol of gold. We read this together. We too have broken promises to you. We too worship the work of our own hands. We too make of gold a god. And we too. At Sinai, you revealed 13 attributes of mercy. These aspects of your nature, your very essence, we now recall. It's customary as the 13 attributes are named that you rise as you are able. Adonai, Adonai, God compassionate, gracious, endlessly patient, loving, and true, showing mercy to the 1,000th generation, forgiving evil, defiance, and wrongdoing. Please be seated. We continue with this in Karachim Av on the facing page. Look at the first 4 lines of the English. We'll read that. It's a beautiful connection into the next passage that will be sung, which is called Ki Anu Amecha. But let's read this as parents show tenderness to their children. May you show mercy to those who worship you. Like the heavens, the tower above the earth, your love is powerful for those. Turn ahead to page 106. This is a folk song, and we're a bunch of folk here, and it's very repetitive. And the transliteration is there, and it's kind of wonderful to affirm the relationship with each other as creatures of God, and with God who is more than a God above, but as we're going to sing, a beloved and a friend.
Ki anu amecha v'ata Eloheinu, anu v'necha v'ata avinu, anu avadecha v'ata Adoneinu, anu kehalecha v'ata chelkeinu,
ata kroveinu, anu amecha ve'ata malkeinu, anu amirecha ve'ata amirenu. Let's read it together. Our God and God of our ancestors, we are your people, you are our God. We are your children, and you are our father, our mother. We are the people who serve you, and you call us to serve. We are your community, and you are our portion. We are your legacy, and you are our purpose. We are your flock, and you are our shepherd. We're your vineyard, and you watch over us. We are your work, and you are our maker. We are your beloved, and you are our lover. We are your treasure, and you are the one we cherish. We are your people, and you reign over us. We offer you our words. So forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement. On page 108. 109. Most of you know, after 32 years, my wonderful foibles with page numbers and budget numbers. When men were children, they thought of God as a father. When men were slaves, they thought of God as a master. When men were subjects, they thought of God as a king. But I am a woman, not a slave, not a subject, not a child who longs for God as father or mother. I might imagine God as teacher or friend, but those images like king, master, father, or mother are too small for me now. Together, God. We're about to go into the Avinu Malkeinu on 114. And Avinu Malkeinu has so many associations. Some of them are what we think about. We think about the meaning of the words, and some of them, frankly, are emotional. They're so emotional that some of the tunes we sing for Avinu Malkeinu, people think were written at Mount Sinai. The one that Barbara Streisand recorded was 1956, Max Janowski. There's something in it that demands that we see ourselves as not all that and a bag of chips, as not all that together, that we need and we seek forgiveness. The story is told of a rabbi who tried to explain forgiveness and he couldn't do it. And he went out into the congregation and he grabbed a baby. Rabbi Gorban grabs babies. You know that. And as he grabbed the baby grabbed his glasses and threw them on the ground. The baby took his tie and put it in his mouth. The baby unzipped the robe. And then the rabbi looked at the congregation and said, is there anything this baby would do that you wouldn't forgive? And what age do you stop forgiving? 5 months? 5 years? 15, 30, 70. We are all forgivable. And I'd like us to keep that in mind as we rise as we are able for Avinu Malkeinu. One 14.
Hatanu lefanecha
Oh, yes. You can listen to me or look at that. You'll be entertained either way, I think. Once there was a man named Don Dickstein. He was filled with doubts about his work, doubts about his family, doubts about his life, doubts about everything. So one Yom Kippur, in a fit of desperation, he started making vows. I will be more attentive to my kids. I will be more loving to my wife, Doris. I will give more to my job. I'll visit my parents more. I'll make time to exercise. I'll lose weight. I'll make time to meditate. I'll control my temper better. I will spend less time looking at my phone. I will breathe more deeply and enjoy the life that I have. 10 vows. He thought that was pretty neat, corresponding to the 10 Commandments. Don wrote them down on a card and put them in his jacket. He felt that that card would remind him of his vows and would keep him from straying. And it worked for a while. Right after Yom Kippur, he shared his vows with Doris. He was so excited. She heard him out. She knew that he was expecting a ringing endorsement from her. She didn't want to disappoint him. She knew he had had a tough couple of years. And so despite her own doubts, Doris looked at Don and said, "It sounds terrific. Let me know how I can support you." The very next day, after Don got home from work, he kissed Doris with a tenderness that surprised her. Don found his children and sat down with every one of them and listened to what they had done that day. And after dinner, he announced, "I'm going to the gym. And by the way, I'll be up early tomorrow to watch the sunrise sitting on my new meditation pillow." And off he went. Doris and the kids marveled at Don, wondering what had gotten into him. And later in bed that night, Doris asked, "Honey, what's going on? I know what you're trying to do, but it seems a whole lot at once out of nowhere." And Don took a moment to think and gave her a direct answer. "I realized I'm going to die. Not tonight or tomorrow, but soon enough. And as the rabbi has said so many times, life is short, you're dead for a really long time. When I reach the end, I want to be able to say, well, I wasn't perfect, but I tried." Doris gave him a big hug and said, "I'm in your corner, Don. But I have to say, it sounds like a whole lot." And most of you have already figured out how things turned out. Don gave his best, but the outside world began to overwhelm his Yom Kippur vows. Business trips sapped his will to diet. Family events ate away at the will to exercise. And the kids' busy lives made heart-to-hearts every day impossible. And between work and home, he didn't see his parents more. And Doris, she watched him flail. And she kind of knew he wasn't going to invest more of himself in their relationship. It's a good thing she loves him so much. You get the picture. And Don is like so many of us. It doesn't matter who we are. It doesn't matter if we're in shul every week or twice a year. We all want more from our lives, but we constantly overpromise and underdeliver to ourselves. All of us came into this room tonight painfully aware of our shortcomings. We don't need a prayer book to tell us how badly we've missed the mark. We want so much to do better next year than this one. Tonight, we all seek repentance and forgiveness, meaning and purpose, the resolve to do better. Frankly, Don's plan doesn't sound so bad. It's just not in the cards for most of us. It's not realistic. It's just so hard to change, really change, despite our best intentions. And our Kol Nidre reflects this harsh truth. It reads in part, all vows, resolves, and commitments, sworn promises and oaths that we promise and swear to God now and take upon ourselves from this Yom Kippur to the next, we regret them regret them, and for all of them we repent. Let them all be discarded, abolished, and undone. Kol Nidre knows dawn. It understands he'll make promises, lofty promises, about changing for the better, and that it knows that despite his desire, he's going to fall short. Kol Nidre knows us, doesn't it? It knows that we're probably going to fall short next year as well. So is this service, this painful, soul-searching, mere play or a sham? I don't think so. I believe that once a year, we must refuse to sugarcoat our flaws and our shortcomings. This one night a year demands radical honesty. This night we confront our failures without cutting ourselves slack. And even though Kol Nidre has a release clause from future vows, it demands this honesty if we're to do it right. Otherwise, it is not Kol Nidre at all. It is merely an exercise in words. I ask, how can you and I not be honest with each other this night about our past, about what we have done in our relationship, about our triumphs and our failures? That's when the picture was supposed to go up. This is the 32nd time I've stood before you, sharing in this no-holds-barred ritual. This will be the last time I speak to you from my heart on Kol Nidre. On this Kol Nidre, I would like to share the promises we have kept, not those we have broken. Such vows we have made over 32 years. On my first Yom Kippur, I promised you I would give you all of my heart, my mind, and the work of my hands. You promised you would give me your trust, although you had been hurt terribly in the past. I promised you I would not make over the congregation in the first year. You promised you would listen to some of my ideas and take them seriously. And we moved, sometimes glacially, into the world of sacred relationships grounded in Jewish values and teaching. I promised I wouldn't change all the music. One Shabbat, out of 30 songs the choir sang, I changed 3, and there were calls from my head. You promised to open your hearts and ears to new melodies. In 1990, we brought Debbie Friedman here for the 18th anniversary of her landmark work, Sing Unto God. We assembled a choir of 50 singers who had a blast with Debbie, and this room was filled to the brim. When the weekend was over, some wanted to go back to the old music, and I gently suggested, well, you have this choir. And we never looked back. The Intergenerational Choir of Temple Sinai is in its 30th year. It's become part of the fabric of our community with joyous soul singing. I promised I would find a way to care for you insofar as possible, the way I cared for the 75 households in my previous congregation in Wisconsin. And you promised to bear with me as we grew, and I didn't always have every one of your names committed to memory. I promised we would live up to the challenge of liberal Judaism, which asks us to honestly meld together the truths of modernity and our tradition. We take the challenge of Torah and tradition seriously, not literally. And by and large, you have welcomed these efforts. We've embraced Hebrew, study, and prayer. We've stood tall and proud in our support of interfaith families, LGBTQ Jews and their partners. We have stood together at the forefront of social justice issues locally, nationally, and abroad. Just last year, I asked us to plant a garden. You responded, and this summer, we donated more than 200 pounds of fresh vegetables to the Squirrel Hill Food Pantry. I asked to make more of our own food for Shiva homes and Onegs, and you responded by having marathon cooking and baking sessions. Yes, I'm looking at you, Mara, which have stuffed our freezers full. I asked you to trust me with your children, youngsters and teens. You did. I have led 850 or so bar and bat mitzvahs. I've confirmed 650 of your 10th graders. I've named hundreds of your babies. And I've married 200 of your children and named dozens of their kids. I've tried to repay the trust you placed in me with your most precious ones. You asked me to take care of you when you and yours were ill, and even more so when they died. I've led more than 900 funerals and shivas here. I've never stinted on being present for you and giving you my constant caring whenever I was able. I asked you to embrace my family, which you have done without stint and with open arms. Barbara found her voice and her place here in this community. She works more than half-time in the surgical division of Shadyside Hospital, but she still found the time to be a leader in the Women of Temple Sinai, the Intergenerational Choir, and the Women of Reform Judaism nationally, all while raising Micah, Avi, and David. I am in awe of the gifts she has given to this community. Thank you for caring for my partner and my children. What else could I possibly vow this night, our last Kol Nidre together? What could I vow that could be fulfilled, given that I will not be here next year? I vow to leave you with my most precious personal Torah. I leave this Torah to you and pray you accept it and take it to heart. This Torah is in 5 parts, just like our scroll. I leave you a Torah of kindness. When I arrived here in 1988, hurt and anger had hardened hearts and sharpened tongues. People felt free to criticize each other harshly. They called each other names, and worse. We have made our mistakes here over the years and have not always lived up to the Torah of kindness, but I have never stopped preaching it and trying to live up to it in my own words and deeds. May the Torah of Rahmanis, compassion, kindness, guide our Sinai family for years and years to come. I'm leaving you a Torah of authenticity. No more does our Sinai family look to the easiest way to live Jewish lives. Easy is not authentic. Easy is not what our parents and grandparents gave us. They gave us Torah and tradition, Hebrew and peoplehood, ethics and faith. I've tried to teach every class, lead every retreat, daven every service with these in mind. For a good heritage have I given you, do not forsake it. This Torah teaches that you must do Jewish, not just think about it or feel it. If you do not do Jewish, Shabbat, holidays, learning, experiences, there will be no Judaism for you, your children, or your grandchildren. I leave you the Torah of Tikkun Olam. If you come to my office, you will see a handmade sign titled Jews for Dreamers, as well as commemorations of the shared experiences with the Hindu, Muslim, and Christian communities. I believe in taking care of our fellow citizens. I also believe in taking care of our people, the Jewish family as well. I believe that we are commanded by God not to stand idly by the blood of our neighbor. That's in Leviticus 19. And we are instructed we must not hide. That's Deuteronomy 24. We must not hide from the troubles of those around us. When we see suffering, we are required to engage our hands in easing it as we can. May this Torah move you in years to make this world more peaceful and just. May this community be a fountain of that peace and justice. I leave you the Torah of caring. I am so moved every time I go to a Shiva home and someone from Sinai is already there moving chairs, putting out cookies, being a quiet support to a family in grief. I fell when people at Charles Morris stopped me in the hall to tell me how much they enjoyed the Sinai Singers on Shabbat afternoon. I tear up when I see the caring delivery bags set out each Friday to be delivered to people before Shabbat. And I'm overcome with emotion when I look out and see interfaith families who've created such incredible connections here at Sinai, but more importantly, couples with other couples, sharing, loving, and supporting each other. Speaking words of caring is important, but it is meaningless without caring acts. And over these last 32 years, we have together completed tens of thousands of caring acts. May the Torah of caring guide you and this entire congregation into the future. And lastly, I leave you a Torah of love. I love you for embracing me. I love you for accepting my leadership despite blunders and mistakes too many to count. I love you for every child that has jumped into my arms on a Sunday morning or on a Shabbat evening. I love you for every one of you who have asked about me and my family when I was trying to take care of you. I love you for helping to raise my children, Micah, Avi, and David, into mensches. And I love you for sharing honest differences without harmful words or threatening to walk away. I love you for letting me wear jeans to Shabbat Minyan, for allowing me to sing with my guitar at the drop of a hat. And I pray with all of my heart, may this Torah of love outlast any sign of my physical presence after I take my leave next June. 32 years. Who would believe it? It's gone so fast. In Hebrew counting, 32 is lev, which means heart, from my heart to yours. Next June, not now. We still have almost 9 months of Torah and love to share. Let us share kindness, authenticity, tikkun olam, caring and love for each other while we have the chance. I'm dedicating these 9 months at least 72, yes, it's a multiple of 18, slots of 45 minutes for you to come and for us to talk about anything you want, to cry, to kvel, to kvetch, the important cuz. Call Nancy Conway, my assistant. We will find time, 45 minutes, anyone who wants it. We'll talk about times we shared, resolve conflicts that may have festered. Come in and we'll talk about your neshama, your soul. Come in and we'll exchange smiles, embraces, and tears. Come in and just be together. I love this community. More than anything, I want you to love this community too. Not just me, this sacred family of Sinai, led by incredible leaders like Rabbi Karen Gorbin and Cantor Laura Berman, led by incomparable staff and supported by all of you. If you wish to honor me after I'm gone, love this community, its people, and all that it stands for. So one last time, my Torah for you: kindness, authenticity, tikkun olam, caring and love. Promises, vows, made, kept. Despite Kol Nidre giving us an out, we have kept our promises of mind, heart, and soul, serving you, serving the Temple Sinai sacred family has been the singular honor of my life. I'm forever changed by you. And I pray that you've been touched by me and my heart for good. My lev, my heart. Promises, vows made, kept in faith, in love, love, lev, love, lev, love. A few brief announcements before we continue with Aleinu and Kaddish. Please bring your cards of admission to the services. We appreciate that for security purposes. Tomorrow, the taught services at 8:15, they're in the chapel, okay? And the intergenerational service will start here at 9 o'clock. We're going to try to get that done in 2 hours. We've been late everything we've done in all high holidays, but we're going to try. Just like Kol Nidre. We're going to try again and again. What? All times are approximate. 11 o'clock will be the late service. We're going to have a mincha service at 1:30. And then the Bet Midrash, which is spectacular this year. We are having a session led by Rabbi Gorban on Torah itself and the new Torah, which is being written by a soferet, a woman scribe. There are very few in all of North America that have been written by women scribes, and we're delighted to be one of those people. If 10 years from now you have honored me by having a bat mitzvah girl read from a Torah commissioned by a soferet, I will be thrilled. Rabbi Larry Friedman's making a return appearance. He's going to teach about the Untitled Chapter of prayer. If you want to learn about life and death, come. Rhonda Rosen is going to be doing her singular, incredible work in meditation and how that touches our spiritual lives when we often don't see the connection ourselves. We are going to have moth-inspired storytelling led by Alan Olafson, who leads the Moth here in Pittsburgh. And we're going to have a session to learn the song. We're going to do a community sing at 4 o'clock tomorrow. We have friends coming in from the Christian, the African American, the Hindu communities to come and sing an English version of Lu Yehi. Lu Yehi was written by Naomi Shemer in the wake of the 1973 Yom Kippur War. It's a song of hope, and the idea is that we'll be together and sing this as an act of faith, hope, love, and unity. And I hope that you will be here for 4 o'clock tomorrow to sing with us. It's really, really important. I'm hoping 200 to 400 people are singing this thing. It will be recorded. It will be videoed. We'll be able to keep it as a keepsake. And we hope that you will take part in it so that we can have your Shana Punim, your sweet face and your wonderful voice. I'm missing at least one. I know I am, but I'm trying to think of what they are.
Rabbi Ellen Lewis.
Rabbi Ellen Lewis, who was sitting there, is going to be leading a session on, hi Ellen, on trauma and healing. She's not only an incredible colleague of mine, but she is a very talented therapist and healer in her own right. And she's coming from the outside to help us prepare for the difficult days ahead leading up to 1027. Yes. And what?
And Jordan Golan and Leslie.
And Jordan Golan. How many of you heard my Rosh Hashanah morning sermon? Some of you? Occasionally? Well, we have to work on Rosh Hashanah attendance, apparently. I talked about the refugees that are on our borders, especially the children. Many people have asked what they can do to help. Jordan Golan's from Jewish Family and Community Services will be leading a session on that with Leslie Eisenman, who is the specialist in refugee and immigrant settlement here in Pittsburgh. We hope that you will be here for Yizkor and Ne'ilah, and we will break fast here at around 7:15. And because of the calendar, it'll be dark. It'll be dark when Yom Kippur ends, which is really kind of neat. Please donate to the Squirrel Hill Food Pantry. The tables aren't groaning yet. You have until Simchat Torah. Grab a bag, look at the list, and we hope that we will make those tables grown by the end of Simchat Torah for the people who are in need. This is the last chance I will have to say that I'm running an amazing trip with East Liberty Presbyterian Church's Randy Bush to 3 countries in 8 days. The first country is called the Christian Holy Land. The second country is called Jewish Israel, and the third country is called the Palestinian Territories. Going to all 3. If you want to know what is going on with our Christian friends, why they believe what they do, come on this trip. If you want to see on the ground, instead of reading in the newspaper or on a blog, what the conflict is between Palestinians and Israeli Jews, come on this trip. It's November 10th to 18th. I have plenty of information. There is limited scholarship help available for the trip if you want. And that's about it for me. So my wishes for a wonderful, wonderful new year for everybody, but we'll do it at the end after we do our Aleinu and our Kaddish. So if you look in your book on page 116, please rise for Aleinu as you are able.
Aleinu l'shameach l'adam hakol,
L'tekel l'yotzeh b'reshit, shelo asanu k'goyei ha'aratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama,
shelo sam chelkeinu b're'ev, v'gor aleinu kechol ha'para, v'anachnu
seated, everyone. Karen, you're reading. We're on page 118, 119. Start. And so, Adonai, our God, we look to you, hoping to soon to behold the splendor of your power revealed. A world free of idolatry and false gods. A world growing more perfect through divine governance. A world in which all human beings make known your name, while those who do evil turn toward you. May the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when lies and bigotry shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. So may all created in your image become one in spirit, one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your dominion be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. I'm on 121. This holy night concludes with memory. Our last thoughts always are those we've lost. We miss them especially tonight, yearning for their presence at our side. The service we have shared once was theirs. They spoke and sang the ancient words. They prayed, they repented, and yearned for better lives as we have done. Flawed in their deeds and perfect in their faith, they still drew strength from their tradition as we seek fortitude in ours. What was good and beautiful in their lives once gave us joy and now inspire us to reach higher. The knowledge that they loved us deeply brings comfort to our hearts, so we light candles of remembrance and gratitude and speak this timeless truth. The memories of blessing now and forever. We pray that their goodness will live on in their lives, in our lives, planting seeds of kindness and hope for generations to come. On 122, we rise as we're able for Kaddish. As we all say Yizkor later in the day, all those who will may join in. Yitgadal, Yikadash, Shemir Rabbah, V'yomad Yivrach Yeruteh, V'yamlich Malchuteh, V'chayechon, V'yomechon, Chayei Dechol Beit Yisrael, V'agalav, V'yizman Kari, V'yimru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbam, V'rach, Le'olam Olamei Omayah, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yipa'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, Yitadar, V'yitalev, V'yitalal, Shmei Kudsha, Le'ela ul'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechamata, damiram b'yoma v'yimru, Amen. Yehei shlam harabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'el kol Yisrael v'yimru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, huya aseh shalom, aleinu v'el kol Yisrael v'el kol Yisrael tevel v'yimru, Amen. May the source of peace in the high heavens cause peace to descend on all of us, all Israel, upon a world broken and desperately in need of our healing, about all of us who mourn our beloved dead. As together we say, Amen. Amen. Our final song tonight is very simple. It's on the facing page. And it's those who sow in tears shall reap in joy. I'm trying to make it a key that you'll be happy with. If there's family or friends, you might want to just hold a hand. Put an arm around each other, goes like this. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Let's have some harmonies. Those who sow in Hatima Tova, may the final seal be for good. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.